On today's episode of Dimitri's Garage, we will begin to modify my 2018 Audi S4. And this car is gonna get a new intake kit from 034 Motorsports. It's their P34 kit. And the promise is that it'll deliver colder air, and more sounds, hopefully more of that charged air sound, intake sound. Personally, my experience with late model cars is that factory intakes are pretty good. It's rare without a tune that I see much difference. Talking to some of the tuning houses, that was more of the consensus for the B9. Now, I will be installing a tune on this car. I've already purchased it. There will be a video coming where we will see how much power this car makes in terms of quarter mile and 0 to 60 and what all of these components do. So if you're interested in modifying your B9, you want to see what it'll be like with bolt-ons, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and we'll get started on installing this kit together. The first thing we want to do is push the little button on the back of this, and you might need two hands. And you pop that out. It's just a little gear piece. So let's see. Oh, actually, very easy to do it just that way. Now we're gonna use a T25 Torx to remove these two bolts. Pop these bad boys out, they're kind of long. You can now remove this air duct. So it should just slide right out. And this is kind of what I meant when I said that modern cars, late model cars, have pretty clever designs. Like, this is well made. Now you're gonna remove the engine cover, and you do that by just prying up. Now we need to loosen the clamp right here. The instructions call out a 6mm socket, but that's not correct. It's actually a 7. So this should now be loose, and in theory, I'm supposed to be able to just pick this thing up off its purchase. It just pops right out. And honestly, I don't think it's a bad intake at all. Now, one thing to note is we will be reusing these rubber mounts, and two of my rubber mounts have sort of remained with the chassis. They popped off of here. But this one, we need to pop off. Ooh, a little dirty. You can see I've got all three of those mounts in their respective spaces. Here's our nice new airbox from 034 Motorsport and this coupling that we're gonna use. And what I'm told is that we need to take this screw, which is gonna be, this is kind of the top one, the one that's flush with the 034 logo, and this is the next one. And it says that you wanna line it up to where it's the middle of the 034 logo with that one screw or bolt or whatever you wanna call it. So in theory, this should be a real simple job. Just kinda use your hands to rotate around and then just shuffle it around until the logo's kinda dead on in the middle. I think that's pretty good. You'll then take your filter and airbox and you want to position your screw on the clamp so that it matches this hole here, which you can access. And then it sure seems like you'll be able to hit it with a screwdriver from up here. And just use your hand inside to keep positioning the filter how you want it. Make sure it's totally flush on the inside and you can start to tighten up. So here we go, the filter is nice and snug. You don't want to over torque anything and just make sure you can undo it later through that hole. I'm a little surprised they didn't mention this in the instructions. Now you want to throw our clamps over, get this silicone piping on the coupler here over onto the original pipe. My understanding is the airbox should simply pop in to the original factory mounts. Why does this feel like it's too long? So having installed it without the coupler, I've got a feeling that the logo is misaligned on my coupler because the angle that makes sense for it to go on doesn't match what I was trying to do earlier. So let me pull it back out. I messed around with this thing for about probably 5 minutes. The instructions have you indexing this logo against this bolt, but there's no way to do that. This right here is the most natural position I can get this coupling into. If I index it against this bolt like instructed, this thing can't fit. Like if I try to spin it this way, you can see it's pushing out. If I turn it the other way, it slips off this side. This has to be the right way to install it. I think the sticker was just supposed to be over here. Get it lined up. You want to look down below, make sure that it's aligned correctly. Now keep in mind when you're screwing down, you don't want to go too crazy. This is plastic. And again, don't torque so much that you break the plastic, but you know, enough that it stays on. And you want to go back and check that you're still in all the mounts. And I am. The last step is to get this ducting back into place, and it should be as simple as getting it into this hole and then lining up the mount points so that it can be screwed back on. And it should look like that. And I like to start these by hand just to make sure we're not cross-threading or doing anything too dumb. I'm just going to give them a tiny little blast. I don't want to break the plastic. Now we've got this radiator cover to reattach. Kind of go in there. And then get the clips that it has back in. Now we can throw the engine cover back on. And then lastly, take your knob. Let's crank this thing up and see how it sounds, if we get any difference in noise. I want to take a quick pause to let you know that I have a link to the product we're installing today down below in the description. It's an ECS Tuning affiliate link, and if you click through and buy anything at all on ECS Tuning's website, I will receive a small commission that helps support this channel at no added cost to you. And of course, I hope you're enjoying this video. If you are, please click like, please leave me a nice comment, and of course, subscribe. I love talking to all of you guys, and I hope to see you down below in the comments. Now let's get going and finish this install. For the build quality of this product, I would say it's probably like a B. And maybe in the Audi world, it's even an A. The reason that I'm thinking it's more of a B is because I'm used to coming from other platforms where for $400, you get something a little nicer than this. You know, better fitment, don't have the logo indexed incorrectly, things like that. You know, you would expect a little nicer quality if it was for like a Mustang part, for example. And I guess maybe that's just the way it is with the Audis. People spend a lot of money. I see people putting, you know, $3,000 exhausts on and $1,200 intake kits. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with the design. Once I've got it all kind of bolted down and fitted, it seems pretty good. I don't think anything's going anywhere. I was initially a little concerned that this might rub on some of the electrics, but it seems to just clear things. And also the sound of it at startup was real nice. As far as the quality of the instructions and ease of installation, I'd probably give it a B. And this is because, you know, the indexing issue that I talked about, as well as the instructions missing things like the install of the filter. Now it's obvious to me, but somebody may not figure it out. I'll let you know my long-term thoughts as I get to drive it around when I make that full bolt-on review video. So stay tuned for that. For now, I'm gonna let you guys go. There's a lot more to do with this car, and I'll see you again real soon.